the floor, floor. Check if you wanna join in, DJ, give us more. Let me take you to the top, everybody move, boom, boom. Let the party kick in, and the speakers blow. Yeah, we're about to begin. Whoa, we break it down on the floor. The club's like the jungle, we going. Do you want more? All the girls get ready. This ain't nothing but a summer jam. Everybody go party and dance. Hot chicks, cool drinks, make the summer jam. We gonna party as much as we can.
Six-time gold record winning artist, known for Summer Jam, turned this club around. House Party, Animal, Komodo, and of course, Ready or Not. Is everybody here today? This is Hands Up Now, episode 16. We're doing it big this time. This is the biggest episode we've had so far. And I'm about to introduce you to an artist who he needs no introduction whatsoever. We've got, of course, Eugene, your Hands Up King of House. He's here tonight, and he's live from Germany. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. How are you?
I'm yelling on the microphone. I apologize for that, but I'm super stoked. You know, I had my hot coffee, speaking about hot chicks, cold drinks, and of course I got my ice cold drink as well. So I am fired up for this episode. I can't believe we have
a summer jam.
It's a summer jam, and Summer Jam, what a beautiful song. I mean, did you know, like 15 years back, you know, you were in music school and so forth, that one day you're going to be doing a cover song for Summer Jam for, if not the biggest dance music label in Europe?
I think I was just graduating high school when Summer Jam came out, so I had no idea that I would be covering it 10 years down the road.
Right. And by the way, happy Memorial Day week. It's actually Memorial Day week. And so it was actually last Monday. And Eugene is a U.S. military veteran. So thank you for your service, sir.
Thank you. Thanks, bro.
You know, I never got a chance to serve, but I do respect military veterans. I work with a lot. And I mean, I get too excited over this. You know, maybe one day we can work together, because I've started sending you some really cool songs I've been doing, and I think you've taken a liking at the that last one. I think
I heard your
sent you.
songs, man. It's like your arrangements are like very, very beautiful. Like you have like really elaborate arrangements, and that's what I like about your productions, because you just don't follow some like pattern format. You actually have like what can I call it? Like progressive hands up.
Hands Up is actually very interesting. The way I see it is, you got cheesy hands up, you got commercial hands up, and then you have
Right.
the Eastern European is like, they used to have a very
Yeah.
strict melancholy and Phrygian scales, like minor melodic Phrygian.
Right.
And
Right.
it was more about melody. Like, for example, Tetris, you know, the Tetris song sounds like a
Yes,
drunken
exactly.
Russian. Yeah.
Right.
And
Yes.
it was all about that. It was all about melodies. And then
Yeah.
here you come, like folks like you who are singers, and
Yeah.
you put vocals to these melodies, and then you have geniuses like Manian and all these other cool cats around the big labels who are actually taking those vocals and, you know, editing them, fixing them up, and tuning them up, and you get some really cool stuff actually.
But what I don't understand is that like I wonder why further to the west they haven't paid attention to like you know, having like arrangements that are a little bit more, you know, organic, like how, you know, how your music is. Like you got really organic arrangements, and that's something that a lot of people they should pay attention to that, and you're you know, about that, do that more. And so I really do enjoy listening to your music because you have that.
Wow. Well, thank you so
Yeah.
much. I mean, hearing that from Eugene, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what to say. I've never had,
Yeah,
you know,
make sure you check out his music. It's really nice.
thank you so much. And as an indie artist myself, I've never actually had a chance to actually go deep down, talk about like behind the scenes and what's the industry like, and the top level from like Eugene's bird's eye view from 3,000 foot level. because quite frankly, I've always been online. I've been active online. I had the biggest hands up channel on MySpace when MySpace was around. So at least I got a chance to promote that. And then you have here, the Facebook generation, and so now we're on TikTok. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, you can find Eugene on TikTok. You can find him on Facebook. You can find him on YouTube. You can find him everywhere. Just I'll post the links on the description. And you can connect and follow Eugene, and he's very active. In fact, he's actually touring. How long have you been touring? I think, did you ever stop touring? Did you ever take like a year or two break or something like that? Or like, were you always around in Europe and touring? Because I feel like you're always like, I always see you in shows.
Bro, touring is so I've been touring since 2005.
Oh my goodness. I thought it was 2011 since you
And
broke into the big, dance hits. But 2005.
touring has not, and it's a crazy story. So I got I got assigned to a special duty assignment in 2005, and I was so I became a vocalist for the army,
Wow.
and that was when I started doing consecutively around 200 shows a year, and I did that for 2 years until I got out of the army. And then when I got out of the army, I did what's called a European out, and that's where you don't ship your things back, you don't, get on the plane per se. You basically, leave all your things in Europe, and then you are out on the economy. So I did that, and I worked I worked on post for a little bit, and but during the times when I wasn't working, on the post, or I was still a reservist, but I was gigging still then because I still had the contacts, from when I was in the military. Like everybody sees you singing locally, and then you get hired by the bands when you get out. And so I kept on singing for the bands who saw us performing anyway when I was in the military. And so I kept on singing, and then I kept on getting more gigs and more gigs, and then so I was still performing and doing around 50,000 kilometers a year on my car, because I was gigging so much, and I was emceeing, and I made my living that way. And then one day I went into the studio and I recorded some songs that I liked it, and I've always been fascinated with synth production, with EDM, with electronic dance music. Uh, it's
And
good music.
And ladies and
Yeah.
gentlemen, you see, it's people like Eugene that I looked up to 10, 15 years back, because when I was tracking the top charts and so forth, and you hear about the videos on YouTube, it was I didn't get a chance much to actually watch actual television like music, MTV, or like any of the European, like Viva Poland, Viva Germany, whatever. Oh, there's tons of music video channels in Europe. Like Europe takes television broadcasting way too serious, I think, and it sometimes is actually very good. And I remember, like, if I'm in some European country, you flip the channels, and there's like so many music channels. And here in the U.S., like if you have basic cable, maybe you might get one, if you fall, or
Right.
like, you get VH1, but that's like a lot of that stuff. They do a lot of reality TV, so it's a lot of goofy stuff.
Yeah, they don't do any. Like, it's funny, you get MTV, but they don't do music. It's crazy.
Wow. And one thing
I
about,
remember when MTV used to be music. I
yeah,
remember back in
yeah,
the day
the
when it was
90s was, I
music.
think, the time where MTV, you had the Beavis and Butthead show, which was even entertaining itself, and then you
That was
had,
when it was stopping.
yeah, that's
That
when
was when it was already stopping.
and you had some
When
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I was like, "What is Beavis and Butthead? Why is this playing? Where's the
Yeah.
music?" It used to be just straight
Well,
music.
they were playing a lot of metal, and so like I think that they did put some metal, like cutscene and metal stuff integrated in the TV show production itself,
Yeah.
because they were
Mhm.
gearing towards that audience. And then you have something, so you have like Pantera, which I think got banned, and the 90s on MTV. So once they got banned and
didn't know that. I
censored,
didn't know that.
like, people were
Oh.
furious. And so you're talking about the serious hardcore extreme metal scene, are no
Yeah.
longer tuning into MTV. So now you have this childish MTV, very PG-13ish and kind of silly, too cheesy. And what are they gonna show? So I think a lot of
Then came Real World, you know.
yeah,
Remember, the
yeah,
Real
that
World,
that was so annoying. I
Spring
can't stand
Spring
that.
Break,
Yeah.
and all that crap, you know.
And then of course
That
you
was
have the Pauly D and what was that, Jersey Shore? Jersey Shore, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Jersey Shore,
And you know they
Polly Shore,
I think Pauly D will
Jersey
totally
Shore.
he would totally be down to play Hands Up if he heard it. I don't think he knows about it. If we introduce him and make a song with him for sure, because in New Jersey they call this fist pump. So if you were to play something techno oriented, even with a beat at any BPM,
Yeah.
they'll call it fist pump. They have their own thing, you know.
Wow. They
And-
called it that?
Yeah, I actually don't mind it. I don't mind the name. Look, if Europe wants to call Hands Up, we can call it fist pump here. And so long as
Wow,
we
that's
can,
crazy.
so long as we can be
And
on the
you know,
yeah,
yeah,
so
it's
long
just so
as
crazy. Like,
so long as we can actually be
okay.
on the charts and like make something with some artist here. I don't care changing the name. In fact, we'll even change your brand name. I don't know about that.
You know,
But so ladies and gentlemen, we have Eugene here, and we were talking. Actually, no, your introductory song was actually the one that really stuck with me. Is of course Summer Jam. Now, mind you, around that time you released that cover song with the big labels. You actually, I'm not sure if you knew this, but in 2011, actually no, in 2010. DJ THT and Set Technoboy, they go under different aliases for that
Right.
on bootleg production, which was at the time. I think it finally got signed with Zooland, and it was released. And then Set Technoboy came to the U.S. And so here we booked him to this Hands Up nightclub. We used to have a Hands Up nightclub. I don't know if you knew that. I kind of feel sick right now, seasick, because I don't think you ever saw you, Eugene. We never booked you in that one in particular, because little did I not know that Eugene is actually from good old state of Georgia. And mind you, that's how I discovered Eugene. Is actually kept going up and down, when I drive around. And here he is, Eugene. I follow him on social media, and a little thing that I not know. I mean, like he lives out in Georgia, and so. So Summer Jam, we were promoting the new single on Zooland Records for Summer Jam, not your version, no offense, but the one that was the
The-
original one with the, and so we were playing that, and I was
You
the
mean
MC.
what do they call themselves? The Underdog
Yes,
Project.
the
am I
Underdog
correct?
project, and
Yeah.
so we were actually playing the remix that Set Technoboy and THT put together, Breakboy, Set Technoboy, and stuff like that, and I was there. This was actually my first ever MC gig at a Hands Up nightclub, and we put like over 500 people there. Came to the show. It was pretty good. I was pretty happy, but sadly enough, Hands Up, just from then on, it's always been kind of like getting out of the map and so forth. So you can hear it much less. And some of people, like, they just did not pull their weight together. They didn't go all in on this. And I'm kind of very offended on I'm just talking about the whole scene in general. All the artists, they've been backing out of Hands Up. And I've seen less and less of the big stuff going on. But it is what it is. I mean, if people want to make house music.
Hands Up is is niche. We know that, and but we also know that it has a big following, and so the thing is, it's like it's considered a not only a subgenre, it's an entire culture.
I think in the U.S. now
And
we have a bigger following for Hands Up as a genre than even in Europe. And I must say that because if you look at the anime community, they love nightcore and they love that fast techno stuff and they love K-pop.
but then it's not.
Yeah.
So then it's not on the decline.
It's not at all. It's actually growing here, and most of the people
Okay.
that come to this Discord server, which is literally called Hands Up Now, are coming from the U.S. And so when they put their profiles on here, they say they're from this state. They're like, whoa, I'm seeing actually increase of people. And I love that because you know what? I'll be honest with you, Eugene. I don't know what's going on, but I've had just about zero, if anything, successful project or any project related with European artists whatsoever. It's like there's some kind of a wall between Europe and the US, and it really is. If you look deep down, A lot of the U.S. songs are just like mainly they just care about their track. Like if they hit the billboards here in the U.S., they don't care about like European market at all, unless if they're gonna be some doing some touring, kind of like you. Like you're gonna be doing touring, but here in the U.S. they focus mainly. Oh, can we get this on this radio? Can we get this? Can we hit this on the big billboard? That's pretty much it here. They don't care about anything European related, and that's totally fine. Um, but then again, I don't think we've seen the European top artists make a wave to the U.S. Unfortunately, and it's got to be something with territories and the whole music politics. But again, uh, that's out of my control, ladies and gentlemen. And since for most part, I've been in the indie scene, and so here we are. And I was actually in Chicago. The nightclub I was telling about, Eugene, was actually in Chicago, and it was in Naperville. It's right next to the downtown Chicago, and they've been doing this from like 2000, like literally from the early 2000s. They've had all the major artists there, and yeah, if we met earlier on, I'm sure we would have totally, done something. The nightclub unfortunately closed doors in like 2013, I think, something like that. And as you know, it's a very tough business, especially when you have to serve a underage audience and you're trying to sell alcohols to make so it can be tough for a lot of folks. But anyways, it was very generous. We had a very good party there. But for Eugene, you've been all over, so you've been just about every European country touring, right?
Right.
Nice. Have you ever been to Sunny Beach?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Oh my god. What did you think of Sunny Beach?
It was amazing.
Oh my goodness. Okay, did you
I was at the Glada Viking.
the Gliding Viking? Yep, the Happy Viking. So you've been there, done that. I'm very glad because I was gonna get to that. You know what? Like it's a Danish nightclub, and most people don't know about it unless they like really follow the scene and they're part of this, this fan base. And so here you are amongst like Italio Brothers, Cascada, and maybe I think the Hitman at one point came to the Sunny Beach Biking Club, and it gets very wild there. I mean, so wild as I went to a Bass Hunter gig in 2009, and I mean, everybody like there were people who were just bare naked. Like that's how wild it was. So there's zero law. Like law does not apply over there. Okay, so. I've never seen the kind of a wild crowd though, so very drunk and so forth. But have you ever seen a wild crowd like that in the Viking than any other place, or
No,
that's a little too much? I think there.
I didn't see anything like that there.
Oh, good. So maybe what year were you there?
I think I was there in 2013.
Well,
2004.
even still, they would have. Well, maybe I don't know. Maybe the Scandinavians were not as happy as they were back 2000. I'm just kidding. I don't know what it is, but it's wild, and so that's great. And so, anyways, so here you are, and now you're still touring. What would you say? Would you see yourself like doing? Are you looking to get some more tracks going like the 10 15 years back, and pull them out in the label and get them released out? Do you think you will be recording soon? What is your plans for the next year or so?
Wow.
Because
I
your
guess
schedule
my
must
plan.
your schedule
I
must be
guess.
very wild. I mean, like, can you
I guess
dedicate
my only
time?
plan. I guess my only plan is to reestablish myself. Um, you know, to reestablish myself as a musician in Europe again, and to support the cause of artistry and pop culture, and to be the best ambassador I can while I'm here. It's kind of all that I really want to do. To just sing my heart out and to really entertain like it's my job.
Right, right, and
It's really- More than anything, I want to entertain.
right. Um, and so, do you do a lot of um, do you talk to any of the fellow artists from like some of the labels that you released music under today, or are you mainly doing solo stuff these days, like solo touring, or like you said you're gonna be
I
DJing?
tour.
Uh huh.
I tour as a solo artist, and I sing where I'm needed. Somebody's got a gig, I sing there, and you know, I gig on a good level. And I love the clubs. I love the party. The clubs are amazing. Every single club is so great, and yeah, I like what I experienced. The experiences, the how much these clubs stick together. Like the people who work there, they're family, and they treat each other good, and the people they have a good time. And so I just like singing at those places.
Yeah. Um. So reestablishing yourself is for sure something that is on the roadmap right now. Um, and mind you, everyone, this is the music world. Like in Europe, it's a dog eat dog world, just kind of like here in the U.S. But here, it's like on the one hand, you may have tons of fans in like one genre, like trap music. It may be dubstep and maybe something else, but you really have to like kill it. And I'm actually thinking, Eugene, to make a footprint in Ibiza. I've actually never done anything in Ibiza. We had a contact one time here. It was a little too silly, but I didn't do anything there. And so, my new contact there that I think I want to establish a footprint is somebody who had Freddie Mercury, he had George Michael, all the biggest names. So he will throw all the biggest parties there and so forth. And I think, if we were to reestablish the brand, the Eugene brand, definitely for sure, I'd love to see if we can put together Hands Up now with Eugene and make it big, because quite frankly here there's only so much I can do, but and you know how Ibiza goes, like everybody goes there, and like David Guetta himself, like I think he made himself a name from Ibiza, if not from his native country. So that's one way to kind of put two and two together on a higher level, just being on the main scene. And I'm not talking about like, hey, some of those labels, but I'm just talking about being on the eyes view from the heads of the music world in the biggest label. So that's another thing. And so which track would you say from the ones that you worked previously were you most proudest about, and would you say was one that was your favorite of them all? Do you have any in particular?
I'm proud of the ones I wrote. uh, no, I'm particularly happy about House Party because I co-wrote House Party, and I like it that Summer Jam is not a one-to-one cover. I think that Summer Jam having the rights to, or being a part of the song that is a spin-off of it, but has the same,
Well, you gave it a new flavor. That's what
it
happened.
has new lyrics. Like how weird is that, right? Because how often does a song, how often back in that day when copyright issues were copyright law was really crazy back then. Like you could barely do that, and to have the rights to have the official cover to a song that is that iconic, and that was just a big honor.
Yeah, I think the original
And
artists, what are they,
and
Portuguese or Spanish or something like that, and it was such a big hit over there that it exploded all over Europe. So it made it.
it was such a
Yeah.
it was such a big song, and I was happy to be a part of it, and I'm happy to still be the vocalist of such a song. It's such a blessing to be a part of something like that.
Right. Do you
It's hard to believe, sometimes it's really hard to believe that, a voice, a voice can do such a thing. Like we live in a world where a voice is appreciated, and that means a lot.
And you know, and that's the thing, Eugene. It's like when you did the cover for Summer Jam, a lot of cover songs have been done, and people who are fans of music in general were either very happy or very unhappy. And mind you, this is one where I don't know if I can name anybody who said anything. Oh, you know, I didn't like the remake or the cover of Summer Jam, and that speaks volumes right there. So, oh, and mind you,
I mean,
hmm
and that's the thing. That's the thing. That's art. So it doesn't matter who likes it or who doesn't like it. It's a creation. It's a birth of something that did not exist before, and it came
yeah,
from and it came from human observation. It came from someone's perspective about the way they interpreted something im- that impressed upon them,
yeah,
and then it was reproduced through the great divine, and then boom, it hits your ears, and it's like it's always coming at you hot, like information, and that information gets produced in so many ways, and someone chooses to produce that information in a creative, artistic way, and it's like here,
hmm
Summer Jam,
wow,
and then boom, and and like that is the deliverance of the of the gift of making music, bro.
right.
And isn't it great? Like the 2 Minute Papers guy says, like what a time to be alive, like this is really great that we can actually do this and rinse and repeat and get songs out and people can listen to it, and we live in the greatest times. We really do.
Some artists have come out recently on like Snoop Dogg. Well, I wouldn't say Snoop Dogg, but some artists have been complaining about AI, their voice being used in music, um, and so without them actually recording the song. What is your thoughts about AI being taken into some stuff? But artists, of course, producers. When I'm talking about artists, producers have to be respectful of the singers. They have to, notify the singers. They have to do things. They shouldn't be releasing, obviously, things on in the internet without having, approval by the artists. And if so, like there has to be some kind of a arrangement made. Some artists have been
What if
complaining about it.
everything what if everything that you ever thought about, what if what if any musical idea you ever had could be basically produced in an instant because you thought of it? Do you think that would be something that you would be interested in doing, or do you
Probably
enjoy,
not because
or do you enjoy, or do you enjoy the human interface, being able to interface
I
with
think human
machines? Do you
interface.
enjoy that?
Because I say human interface, Eugene, because I one of the one of my really favorite hands up producers. He calls me an entertainer. You see, he knows that I'm not a singer. He knows I never brag about singing or being a vocalist. I actually,
Yeah,
because I never went to vocal school. I never went to choir school. I didn't do anything like you did that. I don't have a
I
good
didn't.
voice, and I
I
just,
just
yeah.
did it because I did it in high school, which that was fun. It was all I had. I wasn't an athlete, so I joined chorus, and I grew up in gospel church because my
Yeah.
parents used to drag me there. And if I wasn't nice, they'd whip
Well,
me.
it's a blessing.
So I was going to church.
We're gonna put a big cross around the podcast here today.
I was
Um,
going to church. There was nothing I could do about that. So yes, I learned how to sing at a very young age. I could sing before I could talk. Actually, I stuttered. When you talk and then you stutter.
oh,
I stuttered as a child. So
oh no.
my dad was a singer, and so my dad used to he used to sing all the time in the car. Two songs that were already on the radio, and of course, that's how you learn how to match pitch. So I put one and two together, and I realized, oh yeah, that's how you sing, and I could do that before I could talk. So I would have a better time expressing myself through voice. I mean, yeah, through singing than I could talking, and then naturally, you know, that led to conflict because, of course, what happens when you sing, and you create competition in that way. And so I threatened a lot of people with my voice, and
Oh,
and that used to keep me in a lot of trouble. It was already bad enough that I stuttered and that I wasn't even athletic. But on top of that, they tried to suppress my voice. And my voice, they tried to suppress my, it's like I can't do anything about this. It's not like I tried.
Yeah. You know, one
I
thing
don't
I've
try. I don't try to be you don't try to. You don't try to breathe. I don't try to. I don't try to sing. It's just something
natural.
that I
It's
do.
natural for you. Yeah, it's
I
very
really. I
natural. You were
really
born with
can't.
it.
I. I really can't help myself. Honestly, I really can't help myself, and it's just something. It's a part of me.
Um, before we go back to Germany, just to stay on the U.S. level, Nico is actually from Boston or Massachusetts, I hear, and he's a
Another
friend.
singer.
He's a friend.
Another singer. He never had that guy never had vocal lessons. He's an amazing singer.
Hmm.
I heard him sing before. He's awesome, and
Wow.
he dances like hell on stage. I remember me and him were at Starfloor in Paris. This dude gets on stage and I remember when he was like
Did he take off his shirt?
and he said um and we land on the dance
Oh
floor,
God.
right?
How does he
And
do all that? Like,
he
is he like?
jumped up in the air, and he jumped so high up in the air, and when he said right, he landed on the floor, and I think he had on like some Adidas or something like
Mhm.
that. It looked like he busted a move,
What do you,
like he was breakdancing,
what do you
and he
call
took
that?
over the stage. It was great.
Oh wow, I was about to say, did he? You know, when you take your legs and you do the all the way. uh,
And not like he does that.
uh-huh.
Like he flips on stage. He has no problem. He has no problem breaking out with a flip on stage.
Mm.
We're talking like entertainers. These are like some some
He's
people
got it. He's
try.
got it.
Some people try, and some people don't. Some people can't help it. Some people just can't help it. Like if I got on stage, I'd be, it's all that I can do. When I get on stage, all of a sudden I show my ass every time. It never fails. You wind me up, and I do what I do.
Have you ever performed at Easter Rave by any chance? It's a very.
Yes,
Oh wow, wow. Which years did you go there? Oh, you don't remember?
when it was still in Overhausen.
Oh, okay, okay. See, I don't know anything about it because like I'm like I'm very closed here and like I just almost never follow the scene itself. I'm just kind of like I got back to it on the horse in 2020. I was dormant from 2013 until 2020. So,
Beautiful club. I mean,
mhm.
beautiful thing. It's a thing. I was there with Bass Hunter,
Oh, nice, 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 nice.
and I think Italo Brothers was also there that night too. And I'm not sure if Cascada showed up too. I think she
You
was
should have
there as
seen
well.
that how much of a crybaby I was when Italia Brothers said they were coming to Sunny Beach. I flew to Sunny Beach, and of course they canceled it like a month before, or like a day, some days before. And I'm like, no, no, my childhood is gone now. I will never get to see a Hands Up live act. The only thing I ever saw was Bass Hunter. Period. I've never had to live through and enjoy the like something like you would come on stage. I never had the chance to. I would just have to go on YouTube and watch videos.
I ran
Uh,
into Bass Hunter at in Norway. I toured in Norway for 2 months. That was amazing, and I had a chance to see Bass Hunter, and I had a chance to see Italo Brothers
mhm.
too. And man, those guys are great. They're so great.
Well, so are you. I
Um,
mean, you're one of the
I
dons.
love watching. I love watching their shows because like that energy is something that I like. I need it.
Right.
I need it, and it makes me love what I do even more.
Eugene, you came on the scene like with the Summer Jam in 2011, 2010, and so forth. Like, you came around the time Clubland started like to disappear out of the main stage stuff. Now they're kind of getting back and
Yeah,
stuff. Did you ever do anything with Clubland? Because I know Cascada did a lot with Clubland, but did you do
I don't know
anything?
what that is.
Clubland is
What's that?
a Clubland. Well, Clubland was a compilation series. It's a music series, and the main driving force, like I guess the event business, was called AATW, all around the world, in the UK. So this was like the UK thing of like, like the UK scene of like the hard dance side. See, you came around the time that thing was bought out and sold to a big label, and so um, I think. But anyways, it would have
No,
been so cool to if you were part of it, but
I don't know what that is. I wish I knew,
that's all
but
right. That's okay. That's okay. And I was very big into the whole UK scene as well, and I loved everything about the donk. Did you ever hear? Do you know what donk music is? Or scouse?
no.
Oh my goodness!
No.
So this is actually big in Russia as we speak. The donk thing. They call it some kind of hard bass or something. Like it's ridiculous. This is like what they love over there, and it's become a meme genre in Russia, but they like love it to death. And funny enough, I mean, like that's there. That's a market. Did you played in Russia, right? You've been in Russian cities.
Yes,
Oh wow. Which Russian cities did you play?
I played at the Kremlin.
Oh wow. That's huge. I would have you
That
would have
was
said it.
the only.
You would have said it. So that's what he said. But anyway,
It was an amazing experience,
are the
and
Russian fans? Do you see a lot of was this like an outdoor thing or indoor?
it was an indoor thing.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow, wow,
I,
wow,
I'm,
wow.
I'm, I, I must say, also that people are great, and I've been around these venues where I've been like just so thankful to be there because like they really do not a party.
Right. Um.
Mhm.
Did you it sounds like you spent quite a time in Germany. You spent a long time in Germany. Did you learn German or like cuz I see you speaking German sometimes or like some foreign languages and I'm just like, "Well, what is this? That's not English."
I speak a little bit of German, just a little bit though.
Okay.
Uh, there's a guy who like just came over here after like blogging about it for like 4 years or something like that. I'm not sure if I got the whole gist of it all, but
Mm.
he's a YouTuber and he came over here and he has less time over here than I did, and he speaks better German, way better German than I could ever dream of. So I think I need to practice. But I think if I practiced, I'd be a lot better than what I am now because yeah,
You know who we should have
I
on the
got the
show?
basics. Got the basics, you know.
Wow. There's so many people we
Yeah.
got to bring on the show. Like I just saw I think on Instagram he hit the dance charts at 46 Withard.
Why don't you get up with Why don't you get up with Nico or
I've
Tony
actually
T
never met.
or
I know DJ Gollum, but that's about it. I just know DJ Gollum, and I would do any. I would
Huh.
just like email him like Lars. I just would email him like pitch him ideas. One time he liked one idea, but the singer just like flipped out on me. She blocked me on Instagram, and then she just like disappeared. Like we were initially, she threw out this vocal. I liked it, and I'm like, you know what? Let me make some kind of a dummy boot, demo. Send it to DJ
Yeah,
Gollum. He's like, oh wow, how come I never heard of this vocal? And
this
then
is weird.
she just like disappeared.
He disappeared on you.
She blocked me. I think maybe because like I don't know what the hell. Like I was ready to release this commercial. Like I wanted to do business with her. But just some people are
Uh,
just so cringe. Some people you just are not meant to do business. They just deserve to not be even in the scene. They're like, you know what? They want to be big in the scene. Or I think there's like, I think there's other things involved in it, but we're not gonna talk about it like behind the scenes. I have my own personal ideas of what could be going on psychologically. But then again, look, man, it's so good. Like if you don't wanna, respond to my email and you don't wanna, I get it. But it's too bad because I feel like, man, I wish because that was the only idea that I ever
tell
sent
you,
out. Go ahead.
I I can tell you if I didn't know you, I probably wouldn't reach out. Because often you never know who is out there and who's gonna spam you or not, and like Universal could like send me an email like today, and I would not believe that it was them because why? How in a world that exists like how many emails do you get in your email box in your inbox every day that don't mean a thing?
Hmm.
How many? How many?
Well, I have a very good, maybe one or two, and I'm talking about even only because I have
No, Marty. Do you really have like a really good handle on your spam?
I have
All
trust
the,
me. I'm like all about no spamming and no, but I'm like the most cleanest mofo person you can probably meet. Like my
Okay,
email
well,
is,
I'll tell you what.
I check every
I
email.
know, I know for a fact. I know for a fact that I get about 10 irrelevant emails a day from some kind of advertising, some kind of this or that. And it doesn't matter how many times I unsubscribe, I still get like just a plethora
Oh, by
of
the way, Ujin, I'm so funny you mentioned this because I'm about to hit you with an email. Get
Well, hold
check
on.
it, check this. Go ahead.
Well, 1 second, 1 second, 1 second, 1 second, 1 second. What I'm saying is this: all these irrelevant emails and stuff that just pile up all day. A lot of times, uh, it's like slightly convincing stuff that you almost click on. You probably almost catch some malware or something. Like who knows, uh, what's going on? So even if it's a legit email, what are the chances that anybody's gonna respond to it is slim to none. It's like email these days is almost like you know.
Mm. Well,
So
I totally get what you're saying. You just have to be very
yeah,
cognizant of what's going
you
on,
got to
and
meet somebody. You actually have to meet somebody before it's
yeah,
actually
yeah, yeah,
okay
yeah,
for them to.
exactly. So you have to meet somebody. You have to build a personal relationship. Don't take things for
Yeah,
granted.
yeah,
And I ended up
yeah.
making that mistake. One time I made such a big mistake. I wasted my money, and I regretted it. And that's why I quit for like 7 years. I was dormant because I made a big mistake in the music industry, and that's a cardinal sin. Like don't embrace your ego. I made an amateur noobish mistake that to this day I learned my lesson, but it's about learning your lesson. So you're right. Be careful, and so you have to meet people before you do business with them. You can't. Nobody should be doing business with people they don't know personally. Period.
Yeah, because crazy stuff can happen.
Yeah, and so
Yeah,
oh, I
can
had this
happen.
idea. Oh yeah, so here's what I so 2 weeks ago I partnered with a company out of the U.S. They acquire music catalogs, and
Hmm.
probably people have reached out to you prior about acquiring your music. If not,
Um,
would you be open to seeing email from me? And I'll send you offer estimates, and all you have to do is just talk to your label and see. But most likely they will not settle because you're not an indie artist.
I'm an indie
You
artist.
are,
I don't.
but like the label
Yeah.
sees the whole thing as not like something they want to get rid of. They want to maybe hold on to it. Now it doesn't. We don't know.
What do you
Maybe
mean?
well because like so it's a music acquisition deal. I want to send you some estimates to see if you guys, the whole team of the track behind, like for example, Summer Jam. We would like to give you an offer for Summer Jam. Want to give you an offer for like Animals and whatnot, and see if you guys will be open to selling that song. But
You
uh,
you mean to tell me that good luck.
good luck. And so it's probably not gonna work because I haven't had much success, but we'll see. We'll see. And it's. I think I'll just like email your label about it honestly, and see if you guys want to do something on that. But anyways, that's just something that I started doing 2 weeks ago actually. So I went to
Mm.
one of my biggest artists and I did exactly that. He's got like 600 something million view streams on like one song, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I think this is a big deal now. We will have, and so that was actually the biggest estimate,
100 million streams
right?
on what song?
We'll talk about it after the interview because for the sake of the interview, we'll keep things. So after the interview,
Wow.
we go behind the scenes. We'll talk about it. But anyways, that's like one thing I started doing lately, and that's good. That's okay. And so yeah, you mentioned Nico. Yeah, definitely, I'd love to meet Nico. I've never met him in person. I have remixed one of his songs for the Easter rave at a remix contest, and but I never had any like encounter with, and I never met anyone in Hands Up honestly that is out in Germany on this level, on your level. So you're the first. This episode, like I said in the beginning of this show, this is the biggest episode we've had on Hands Up. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm so excited to be here with Eugene. And Eugene, he's well known in Europe, and we'll see if we can make him a household name here in the U.S. too. Because, quite frankly, we have a lot of Hands Up fans out here in the U.S. And I've been talking to a lot of record labels, music industry insiders from like Apple, Tidal, Apple Music. Soon enough, I'll break into the Spotify folks and their corporate executives and so forth. So it's about that. It's about making those relationships and going tenfold on something. So, what are your thoughts, Eugene, on, because you started out, you really broke into the scene when the streaming thing started blowing up, like, right? So, like, what do you make out of like selling CDs, like physical copies versus like the whole streaming? Did you have any comments on the streaming world versus the physical CDs and the downloads that people used to? Because mind you, people in the music industry love to download stuff back then, legal or illegal. And more often people would do it the illegal route. So what is your thoughts on all that?
I enjoyed the days when sales were still occurring.
Right, right. Snoop Dogg
So
has made a
there were
comment about
iTunes
this.
sales.
hmm You know, I respect Snoop Dogg's comments. In fact, I agree with everything he says about it. He got very like, all in on this. He's like, right now we're going through the writing strike here in the film industry. So
Mhm.
he's pushing for a writing strike towards like the streaming platforms because he's bothered by the fact that artists are slaving to streaming to get streams, and everybody's doing it for the most part, who choose to be on streaming platforms, and they're not paid as like selling a copy. So if you were to have 30, 40, 60 million views on one track, big difference if that was actually like maybe divided by 2 or 3, even better. And multiply by 9.99 or whatever. I think the artist will be the artist obviously will be way more happier than than actual streams, quote unquote. So Snoop Dogg is doing that. We'll see what happens with that. The writing strike is happening as we see it. But I don't know that many music artists joining him right now. So it'll be interesting to see. I'll have to follow up.
Yes.
Yeah. And Rammstein, right? Of course, because you've been in Germany, so everywhere, even
Yes.
like every German city. So Rammstein has been, trying to advocate for a higher, revenue stream for streaming numbers because of that sole thing, the whole fact that the industry, they've taken it legally. They gone on the legal route about it. I don't know. I will see how that unfolds.
Yes.
But for the most part, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, and that is doing gigs and doing tours. And you'll find Eugene in all these shows, ladies and gentlemen. I think this was a blast. And we've been so fortunate to have Eugene on the show. I don't want to take any more of his time. It's like 10 o'clock or something over there at night. He has to get his beauty sleep because tomorrow he's going to be DJing for the first time, actually, in Germany. So can you tell me about your now DJing career? Now from a singer to a DJ. Now tell us something about what's going on there, because I know the same
So-
thing Bass Hunter did. He started DJing. So
DJing is something that I am naturally not skilled at, but I do have an ear for melody, and I guess I would be considered a musical DJ, because I can sing as well as DJ.
wow, yeah, and it's a
And
lot
so
of
it's something that I can provide. I can provide a next level of entertainment when I'm able to actually sing, and yeah, it's a set. Then it's like a real set, because you're not only are you the DJ, you're the master of ceremonies, the MC.
right.
Yeah.
There you have it, folks. This was an amazing podcast with Eugene on episode 16. I couldn't be any more happier to close this podcast by having such a wonderful, talented guest. 6 gold record, award-winning artist, from Europe. He's American, but, he is a well-known artist in Europe. And I'm really, really looking forward to working with Eugene one day, to break our first release, because let me tell you, once that our first single is out that we're going to be working on, I'm going to be so excited as a record label manager and also an artist myself to be partnered with such a talented individual, because there's not that many English speakers. I mean, in Germany, it's kind of like English is, like people just don't speak English there. Like it's just that pathetic, just that sad, and it is what it is. But I'm fortunate that these German labels have found such amazing American artists. So there you have it, folks. That was an interview with Eugene. Thank you so much, Eugene, and I will see you in the after the podcast.
Have a nice night.